Hello everyone, welcome back to Dark World Carousel. Today's topic, how I became a songwriter. Now I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm some kind of amazing, seven-figure guru or anything like that, but I think the story is worth telling. So let's get into it. Now I've always been somewhat musically inclined, just a little bit, but not great, I could play some guitar chords and I could sing. Just well enough to get people's attention, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I kind of lived my life casual before I became a songwriter. Had a full-time job, did all those things, paid bills, Life was just moving right along. Now, my brother, he was married and had a kid and all of those things. But the marriage didn't work out, and he moved on to drugs and wasn't allowed to see his kid anymore and was just in a very, very dark place. And one night I get a phone call, and he had gotten into a car accident. But he looked like he was going to be okay, He just had a few scratches, a bump on the head, But about a week went by and he wouldn't wake up. And then 2 weeks. And then 3. Eventually, my family was given the news that he wasn't going to wake up. And my mother, of all people, bless her heart, had to make the decision on whether or not it was time for him to go. And then I'm at work, in the middle of work, and I get a phone call saying that he's gone. And I just kept working. What else was I supposed to do? I finished my shift, and then I grieved when I got home. I was completely devastated. I didn't know what to do. It had always just been in my head that if any one of us in my family was going to make it, it was going to be him, He was a star athlete. He was 4.0 GPA. He was, he was everything that I'm not. And all of those emotions and all of those feelings, they were swimming in my head, and I couldn't get them out. So I started writing them down. At first it was poems, just lyrics. Then one day I got out my guitar and I said, you know what? Let's see where this goes. I did a lot of open mic nights, small gigs at bars, pedaled on the streets, and sometimes I just played to myself. I didn't actually go out and play for anybody. I just stayed home and played. And I got better, and people started noticing, and next thing you know, I'm getting requests and commissions, and it felt good, it felt right. Like for the first time in my life, it felt right what I was doing, where I was going. Now, my family, they were as supportive as they could be, considering I wasn't exactly making the same amount of money that I was making at my full-time job, so bills started getting a little bit rough. But we kept going, we pushed through. We had to keep trying because that's what my brother would have wanted me to do. And so here we are, for better or for worse, writing songs. Some great, some not so great. I'll be the first to admit it. But definitely worth pursuing, I have to say. I don't regret a single thing. Now, I have a video on how to write a song that I'm pretty proud of. I think it's a good video. I'll leave a link to that. Pop it up here, But in there I mentioned that phrasing is extremely valuable in coming up with a song. And that's mainly because of the fact that most of my songs, they mean something. You know what I mean? They're not just dance tunes. They're heartfelt. They're story-driven. And one song in particular is kind of, if you know me for songwriting, you probably know me for this song. It's called Ash in the Soil. And what happened was, while I was living in Hawaii, the volcano went off in 2018, roughly just a little bit shortly after my brother had passed. And almost jokingly, my mother had told me, write a song for, Pele, the Hawaiian goddess, and try to appease her. So I got out my notepad and I got to working. Now, the phrasing in Ash in the Soil is pretty interesting, actually. It works in sets of 3 for the verses, which normally you work in sets of 4, so rhythmically it had a very different tone to it than most other songs I wrote. But I think it would be easier to just show you, so if you'll give me just a moment, I'd like to share an excerpt from the actual song so that you can hear it for yourself. This one's for you, brother.
I've been away too long to count the days, too long I've tried to run, but I no longer run from anyone.
So yeah, that's Ash in the Soil. I'll leave a link to the full song in the description. But yeah, that's basically how I ended up writing the lyrics to Ash in the Soil. A combination of, heartfelt life goes on, even after the most tragic of things, both the volcano going off and losing my brother. So anyway, if you made it this far, I really do appreciate you. If you could go ahead and hit like, comment, and subscribe, I'd love you forever. Thank you so much. But that'll be it for now. Stay tuned for more content, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, bye guys.